talk about the rebound. The coronavirus pandemic has created a surreal world in which several Americans are finding themselves inside due to stay-at-home orders. And as a result, experts say alcohol sales are up, which has now raised some concerns over the potential risk of substance abuse. CEO of the BlueCrest Recovery Center, Richard Hession, is joining us now with how people can find other solutions to cope with all the stress during this time. Richard, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to know what you've been seeing, really. We know that alcohol sales are up, and liquor stores have stayed open because they're considered an essential business. And I thought the reasoning behind that was so that we didn't get a rush of people who were addicts who needed help in the hospitals when the hospitals were already inundated. So what are you seeing during this time?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me on. The liquor sales being up is 1,000% true. We're seeing all of that. There is a very high rate of relapse right now for people who had already been down this road and tried to achieve some recovery. People who, if you don't know and you're not familiar with addiction, people who are intimately familiar with fear and isolation are two very, very big components of active addiction when you're in that. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, you've doubled that. It's doubled up, right? And so people are drinking a lot more. We're frontline. You're going to look back on this afterwards, and you'll look at the statistics. These alcohol sales through the roof, the amount of people, first responders, we talk to everybody, boots on the ground, real time. Responders, these are all the unintended effects. The shelter in place, we hear all of our politicians telling us that our health first and the economy comes second. Unfortunately, our mental health is being affected in a big way. And for people who are prone to alcoholism and or addiction, that mental health, that's where it finds itself. It lends itself to that kind of lifestyle. And people are drinking a lot more. They're using drugs a lot more, and they're doing it at home alone. And it's extremely dangerous. We've seen on the drug part of it, overdose deaths are spiking, and you're going to see the numbers afterwards. Even after this is done, because of the quarantine and the stay-at-home orders, you're going to see even a further spike in those overdose deaths. And as far as the alcohol goes,
all right, Richard,
go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask you, I want to talk about all these triggers. We're mentioning all of these things, the isolation, the financial stress on this, homeschooling your kids. All of this are triggers for people with addiction or people who need that stress relief. So we're having new people drinking more than they would have if we were going through normal life. So how are you going to tell people how to cope with these stresses and these triggers of everyday life right now during this pandemic?
Well, there's a lot of things that you can do, right, depending on your situation. And again, you're talking about a wide variety of people. If you have private health insurance, utilize it. Go online, sign on to your Blue Cross or your United or your Cigna, whichever health provider you have. Go online and look up counselors. You can get counseling of any kind in the world. Most of it's covered by your private insurance, whether it be addiction and alcohol related or just mental health. People are dealing right now with stress and anxiety, depression, and these things are compounded by alcohol and drugs. They're actually not relieved. It's a falsehood. Now, there are other folks that don't have private insurance, but guess what? You can go on and use our friend Google. And there are so many free options available, and good people that fight this fight every day, right? We've lost in the addiction world, we've lost almost 70,000 people the last 2 years in a row just from overdose deaths alone. So if you're sitting home and you're by yourself, you're not alone. There are a lot of options out there for people that you can call and you can talk to. Then you have your 12-step groups. The 12-step groups have gone online. It's never been actually easier to access one of the 12-step fellowships out there. You can go and you can Google it. The meetings have become global online, so you can actually access a meeting 24/7 at this point. And then there's people who need even more help.
Richard.
It's beyond just yes.
Right. So is BlueCrest accepting new patients? Really quickly, I just have like 2 seconds left. Is it a yes or no?
We are accepting new patients, and you can call us and we'll do an assessment and we'll either take you in or tell you where you need to go.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Richard. I really appreciate it.